Pembers. First one on. Oh, got two on. Oh, Barney. Rich. Yeah. Carol Baskin. Is Carol Baskin maybe doing, mate? Quality. Nothing wrong with it. Here they are, man. Everyone's rolling in now. How's everyone doing? What are you thinking of the top, Barney? You a fan, or? It's not fancy dress, it's style, bet. So, same as always, I had a few good questions in again, but I haven't actually made any notes this time, so I'm just going to freestyle them. Yeah, so it could go P-Tong, to be honest, but yeah. See what happens now, innit? What? Do you mean it's not your cup of tea? This is right up your street. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, so it is a couple of minutes yet before we get going. If anyone on here who was following the lockdown challenge, are we all finding it? If you're doing it, that's the last question as well, Jake. And I come on to that. Yeah, if you are doing the lockdown challenge, drop a comment below. Because I think a few of the things I'm going to go over here will answer maybe some of your questions if you've got them as well, okay? So just bear that in mind and try and listen up as much as we can as we're going through. Trav? Lighting isn't... I know no lighting is going to save me, but it's not the best here. It's a bit bright, isn't it? And the crop is well and truly dead as well. This is possibly the worst haircut I've ever had. What's the time yet? Right, 1 minute then, and we get going. Said, as always, if you can think of anything as we're going through that you want to ask, or if I've confused you a little bit, because I know I do have a tendency to confuse people, just drop it below, and I'll sort it out for you as well then, right? Or... don't know how I'm feeling about that one, Simon. Did you make a Chinese yourself, or drop a comment below? Actually, any Chinese open? Back. Right, 8 o'clock in. Won't bother wasting any more time. So, first one which was asked last week, what are some good options you can have for breakfast? Because you're always trying the same things and you're getting bored. Now, that's a good question as well, and to be honest with you, I get bored of my own breakfast, so it all depends on really what your preference is, right? But a few simple options for you. I'm going to try and keep the answers a little bit more concise and something that you can take away as well. So option one for me, my go-to is always going to be an egg, a form of an egg for breakfast, right? So whether that's scrambled egg, beans on toast, really simple that one. You can go poached egg on a bagel, poached egg on an English muffin. You can go egg with bacon. Again, it depends whether you want to have carbs or whether you want to go with fats in that one, okay? So I said, or you can flip it around then. You can go with some fat-free Greek yogurt, throwing in some raspberries, some blueberries, some pumpkin seeds, a couple of mixed nuts, whichever are more your preference with that one. And yeah, I would say you want to alternate between like an egg on toast, as I just said, or a yogurt. But your key thing is with your breakfast, it doesn't really matter as long as you're getting protein in there, okay? As we've said from the off, really, protein's key with your breakfast. So there's plenty of options out there. I know it's an awkward one to say, well, use your imagination, but you think of how many types of different breads you've got. You think of how many different ways you can cook an egg. And you can also add things to like your vegetables, right? So something that I've used a lot and I put in a lot of people's diets are like sauteing peppers, mushrooms, asparagus and spinach together. And then once you've sauteed all that, put that into your eggs. So whether you've got egg whites, full eggs, and then just scramble that together. And it makes a Spanish omelette, I suppose. And that's cracking, that is. And when I've been on prep for contests and stuff, that's been my breakfast every day for like a year. And you don't really get bored with it. Seasoning as well is key. So as I said, onion salt is going to be a good one for you to use. Curry powders, Italian seasoning, and also a big one that I find is, like chicken oxo cubes. Get one of those, cut a little bit off it and sprinkle it in. There's not going to be any calories in that, but it does add a hell of a lot of flavour then to your breakfast meals as well. If you're going to go for that yoghurt, as we've spoken about loads, go in with some of the natural sweetness, so that Truvia stuff. Fruits, you want to keep that fruit content, relatively low. You don't want to smash loads of fruit in there. You can put some nuts in there, you can put nut butters in there, and then everyone's favourite, I think, to put in with your eggs as well as some avocado, a nice high fat content in that avocado. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some little takeaways you can have for your breakfast as well. One which I think a lot of people are struggling with, especially now that everyone's off work, or most people are off work, and and they're not really doing much as well, is why am I raiding the cupboards during the evening, and what can you do to stop it? Again, that's a really good question. And there's probably not like a sciencey reason behind the fact that you're going in the cupboards looking for stuff. It's probably more down to like a psychological thing, so boredom. Okay, you've been bored all day. And then maybe you've been like, the kids have been mental or something, and you've just had an absolute ring full of them running around the house. You finally get them to bed, you sit down, and then the first thing you want to do is have something to sort of spike that, that enjoyment factor, that dopamine response. So you go to the cupboard, what's in there? Cake, biscuits, whatever you fancy. So to avoid that, I would say, number one, set your structure through the day. Okay, so we've spoken about structure being an important factor when it comes to sticking with your diet. But it becomes even more so important then if you're finding a certain point of the day you're losing control of your diet. Does that make sense? So if you set your meal times, you got your breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, evening meal, and then a pre-bed snack, you're going to be less likely to snack on stuff you shouldn't really be snacking on, right? So if you find you're going in there, you're smashing loads of biscuits, just try and set up a plan for the day, or set up the plan the day before, so you're less likely to want to snack on those stuff as well then when you finish the day. And just, I know it's a bit boring, but just don't buy it. As simple as that. If you find you've got a particular food that you've got like an affinity to wanting to absolutely smash and empty in the cupboards on, just don't buy that food, right? Because if it's not there, you can't eat it. Simple as that. So structure, a structure and a plan is probably going to be one of the only ways, not the only way, but it's going to be one of the best ways of getting you through this like lockdown period and your diet overall. Because if you haven't got a structure to your day, if you don't know when you're training, if you don't know when you're working, if you don't know when you're cleaning, then, everything kind of falls apart, doesn't it? So if I was you, just get a structure, get a plan in place, and don't buy the crap food. Simple as that, really. So hopefully that one helps as well. What do I think of protein bars? Are they a waste of time? Sorry, Jake. Jake, who used to work with us, who absolutely loves a protein bar. But yes, I do think they are a waste of time. But again, it comes back to the context in which you want the protein bar. If you're someone who's in work, you're really busy all day, you're working on a line, you're working in the NHS and you've got constant call outs and stuff, and you just need something quick to grab and to snack, then yeah, protein bars may be a good option for you. But if you're someone who's got that time to cook your food, eat normal whole food that you've prepared yourself, then I would probably steer clear of protein bars. Because number one, the protein in them is crap. It's not the same. It's not as good quality protein as you'd get from like an egg or a chicken or beef or a plant-based protein. And they also got something in there called like insoluble fibre. So what insoluble fibre is, basically you just can't digest it. So it bulks it out. And when you've got like carb killers and it says they're really low carb, they're bulked out by these like man-made fibres, and they give you a hell of a bad stomach. Well, I know they give me a bad stomach. So my answer to protein bars are yes, they're a waste of time unless you don't have time or the opportunity to eat whole food during the day. Okay, so just again, it comes back to that first point, structure and planning, which is then going to allow you to not need the convenience protein foods. So again, I think that's a nice little quick answer on that one. We're absolutely flying through these questions tonight, so I'm going to take my time and I might go into a little bit more depth with some of them. What are my thoughts on ketogenic diets? Right, first thing, what is a ketogenic diet? I think keto has been thrown about, I would say, the last couple of years as being this like all magic weight loss diet, and to be fair, it's not. Now that's not to say that I'm not a fan of it for certain reasons, but I think that the way that it's being thrown about online on social media doesn't really have the worth. Okay, so if you're not sure what a ketogenic diet is, in layman's terms, it's high fat, moderate protein, and zero carb or low carb. In your body, you've got two sources of energy. You've got glucose or glycogen, and then you've got ketones. Ketones are what your alternate energy source, okay? So ketones come from fat oxidation, that's hard to say. So when we eat fats, they are converted through like a pathway, which we won't go into, called ketones. Same as glucose, or carbohydrates are converted to glucose, okay? And they both provide the body with energy. So if we take away that carb source, the body's not going to have any energy. So the body converts the fat stores and the fats you're consuming into ketones. Happy days. The reason why people like to think the ketogenic diets cause weight loss isn't because of the fact you're eating more fat and there's some magical fat fairy that comes in and burns all the fat off. It's because if you pull your carbs from your diet, the likelihood is you haven't added more calories in then, okay? So you've just dropped out carbs from your diet. If you drop out carbs from your diet, you've lost a hell of a lot of calories. So it's not the fact that you've gone low carb, it's the fact that you've pulled your calories out from your diet. Does that make sense? So it's not that if you go into that a ketogenic diet, right, and say you're on 1,000 calories a day, very low, I don't know why you'd be on 1,000 calories a day, and then you pull your carbs out, but then you think, right, I'm going to go keto now, and I'm going to smash loads of fat in me, and you put yourself up to 1,500 calories, you're not going to lose weight, do you? Because even though you're eating more fat, you're still eating more calories. So the fat doesn't have like this magic way of causing you to lose fat. It's the fact that you're in a diet essentially, right? You're in a deficit. However, if you're someone who maybe gets like a little bit lightheaded when they're training, doesn't have much energy, gets a little bit lethargic like through the day, it may be the fact that your body just prefers burning fats for energy. So that is probably when I would say, there's nothing wrong with ketogenic dieting. If you find that after you eat a high carb meal, you get a little bit sluggish, you feel as if your blood sugars have spiked, and then later on they drop off. Now, not many of you would probably know what that feels like. Keto has also been shown to be quite good for your brain. It's a complex reason and probably won't go into it now, but ketone bodies in the brain are also another form of energy, okay? So to come to a take home on that one, probably wouldn't suggest ketogenic diets for an athlete, simply because carbs are going to be your primary source of energy, right? So if you're a rugby player, if you do BST, if you're a footballer, if you're a runner, you are always going to fire off carbs. End of story. That is what the body is going to want to have for you to be the best you can be when you're doing that sport. So for you to go keto, number one, you're going to feel like absolute crap for the first few weeks when you do it because you've got no carbs flying about you. And also your performance is probably going to go downhill as well if you're following a high-fat diet. That's my personal opinion. If you've done keto and you enjoy it, happy days, crack on with it. But I would say the ketogenic diets, for the most part, probably not worth it. Again, if it works for you, it works for you, right? Next one now. This was off... I don't know what this was off, actually. In order to get my 5 a day, I snack a lot on fruit, but I don't like veg. Is that okay? Right, to start off, 5 fruit and veg a day isn't enough. You need to be getting more than that. You need at least 7, okay? And they need to be varied. So if you want to think, if you had a rainbow, and then you want to be eating through that whole rainbow of colour, okay? So you need to make sure you're getting your fruits and your veg through every single spectrum on that colour, because that's going to make sure you're getting all the nutrients and minerals that you need. That's just a really simple way to look at it. Obviously, I'm not expecting you to get it all nailed on, but if you're thinking, you know what, I've had a nice little varied, like my top, if you've had a nice little varied colour through your diet, you know you're going to get enough nutrients in. Now, the issue with swapping out those, say, extra 5 veg for 5 fruit is fruit tend to carry a little bit more calorie than a veg. Okay, so if you're looking at things like your berries, your apples, your bananas and stuff, they tend to carry much more calories and sugar than you would with a veg, like a broccoli or a green bean or a green veg. So I'd probably say it's better for you to get more in than nothing, if that makes sense, right? So if I said to you, you know what, just eat 5 fruit a day, don't worry about your veg, probably going to do you a bit of a disservice. But then I prefer for you to get 1 or 2 extra more servings of fruit. But again, you've got to bear in mind that total calorie intake, okay? It's pointless you smashing 600 gram of pineapple a day and then not eating any other type of veg, because that's not going to do you any good. It's just going to bump up the amount of calories you're eating. So take home on that one would be that try and get a blend of fruit and vegetable through a varied and wide range of colours. Simple as that, okay? Is there anything wrong with packet meat such as sliced turkey, ham, chicken, not the processed stuff, just pre-sliced? No, absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you look at the diet that I've set for lockdown, and I use it myself, there's absolutely nothing wrong with pre-packet meat. Now, I'm not talking about like fridge raiders and rustlers burgers and stuff. I'm on about like deli sliced turkey, deli sliced ham, and chicken. If you look at the back and you look at the macronutrients of them, they're pretty much the exact same as like a chicken breast. It's already sliced in there for you. So if you're late or you forget your food, and you can pop down to Tesco's or something, absolutely just grab yourself a packet of pre-sliced meat. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Again, you just want to make sure. Some of them tend to have a little bit of a higher salt content because they've been like preserved and stuff. So like the Tesco's finest ones are brilliant. The Tesco's finest turkey and chicken, absolutely, again, a proper clean food, good source of protein, and I prefer for you to be eating that than eating nothing at all, and not getting any protein in. Can I eat chocolate if I'm within my calories? Yes, 100%. I think there's so many ways you can look about this. People say no, you can't because you've got to get all your micronutrients in and stuff. Yeah, that's true, but let's be fair. If one chocolate bar is going to offset your the rest of your food from the rest of the day, then you're probably not in the best position to be wanting chocolate anyway, are you? It all comes down essentially to calories in versus calories out. We've all heard that point. We've all laboured that point. But the fundamental thing behind weight loss is calories in versus calories out. There's a hell of a lot of steps that would go with that. From a much smaller level, which you need to keep in mind. So keeping in mind, if you want that chocolate bar, or if we've had a bit of a chat in the lockdown group, if you want to get that Belgian bun. Now, what you got to think is, if your Belgian bun's 500 calories and you're only allowed 1,500 calories per day, that leaves you 1,000 calories left, doesn't it? That's not a lot of food, really, for you to get your protein intake in, your fat intake, and your carb intake with the rest of your nutrients. So if you were someone like Grills, I'm sure he won't mind, pointing him out, who can get away with eating a little bit more food because he's a bigger guy, carries more muscle. Sorry, Pembers, I have to say that. He can get away with eating that bun and then it not having much of an impact on the rest of his calorie intake. But if you're someone like myself who's a little bit smaller and can't really get away with eating that much food, I wouldn't want to waste my calories on a chocolate bar, to be honest, because it's not going to fill me as much as a full meal would, and it's not going to provide me with everything else that I need. But if you're someone who really loves a chocolate bar, absolutely, if it's within your calories, crack on, eat it. There's no problem with that, right? You just got to bear in mind that you're not going to be able to eat as much for the rest of the day. That goes for anything. That goes for drink. If you fancy a pint, have a pint as long as it's within your calorie reach. If it's going to help you stick to your diet, then do it. I prefer for you to eat that one chocolate bar a day than be absolutely class with your diet for a week, get to Saturday and be like, I've had an absolute guts full of this, and then just smash in 20 Twixes. It's just not going to work. So if you want to allow that into your calories each day, crack on. That's a good way of looking at things, right? I think that'll carry through to a lot of people during this time. Can certain foods help you lose weight? Long answer, no. Short answer, no. Long answer, yes. Certain foods kind of have like a little bit of a trickling effect on the way that we burn calories. So I spoke to Trav earlier, and we were talking about peppers and chilies. He said, I've seen online, which I have as well, if I put loads of chilies in my food, or if I put more chilies in my food, it's going to help me boost my metabolism. And you see like loads of fat burners online, all of these booties and stuff. They have what's called either black pepper extract by Iprin, or they have something called capsaicin in. And what capsaicin is basically the spicy part of a pepper or a chili. It's that thing that provides what we call a thermic effect. Now, thermic effect is warmth, really. That's the simplest way to do it. So when you eat a chili, if you notice you have a curry, you tend to get a bit warmer after you've eaten it. And that's because of the capsaicin in the chilies, which is rising your body temperature. Now, that has the smallest impact on your weight loss and your metabolism. You probably would burn more calories by getting up to go get a drink to cool yourself down from the chili than you would by eating the chili, if that makes sense. So, on the smallest level, yes, certain foods, green tea has been shown to have a little bit of a weight loss benefit. But again, nothing of note. I don't want anyone going away and buying 20 boxes of green tea and smashing that every day, because that's all you're going to do is destroy your renal system. And yeah, we don't want that happening either. And then, spicy food has been shown to boost your metabolism. But again, your metabolism isn't one thing. People say, oh, my metabolism don't work, it's broken. Your metabolism's not broken. If your metabolism was broken, you'd be dead. Because what a metabolism is the way that your body uses energy within the cell. So it's loads of different things together, right? So it's not one thing. It's not like, my brain isn't functioning properly, or my lungs are not functioning properly. It's not one organ. It's a big system of different things that contribute to the energy that you're burning and that you're consuming, okay? So there's not one thing that's going to specifically boost your metabolism from a food that's going to really have a knock-on effect and cause you significant weight loss. Okay, I know it's annoying, and we've been sold all this stuff online and from Holland and Barrett and stuff that says, oh, black pepper is going to make you lose weight. Probably not. It's probably not going to have any benefit to you. So yeah, that's my answer for that one. Right then, this one was off Mr. KP. We've spoken about this loads in the office because it's something that I've sort of been not a fan of, but I've wanted to sort of nail down myself. What is my go-to post-workout meal? So if you don't know what a post-workout meal is, it's the meal you're going to have when you finish training, or like sort of that hour and a bit after you finish training. We all remember, boys especially, back in the day when you think, I got to finish that session, I got to smash my food as quick as I can, make sure that my muscles are taking up all of the nutrients. You've got a little bit of a window there, to be honest. You don't need to be as stringent with the timing on it, okay? But I've always been a fan of getting your carbs in post-workout and getting protein in post-workout. That hasn't really changed through all of the time that I say all of the time that I've been dieting. I'm only 23. But, the times that I've been involved in nutrition and stuff, my thoughts on that haven't changed. So a go-to post-workout meal would be something with a high carbohydrate content. Now, when I finish training, if I have the calories or allow it, at the minute I don't, because I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. So I would look for a really fast-acting carb when I finish training, in that sort of half an hour. It's not essential, but I would look to get it in. So something like a banana, maybe even like a couple of Haribos or something. I do like to put Haribos into people's diet, especially athletes. So you're getting that immediate spike, right, of glucose into the blood. You're going to shuttle that then via little things called GLUT4s, which are like little lock and keys to a muscle to make it full of energy. And you're going to get your carbs in through that. No, not custard key. And then I would say the most important thing to be getting in post-workout is protein. Okay, so I would say between 40 minutes to an hour then after I train, I look to get my protein source in, and that's always going to be a lean source. Very rarely would I go for like a steak or a beef or something like that. It's always going to be like a chicken, turkey, egg whites, a whey protein shake. Even if I know I'm going to be late, if I'm like going straight from force down to the rugby or something, that's when I would just grab a shake. So for you, I'd probably go with something like tuna steak, if you like a tuna steak, a chicken breast, with maybe some boiled potatoes, a hefty serving of boiled potatoes. You could go with like a chicken and pasta bake, minus the cheese, obviously, because we don't want fat in that post-workout meal. What else could you go for? A big one that I've always had is oats. So I've always gone with oats and some whey protein mixed in with that as well. And that sits really well on my digestion. So for your go-to post-workout meal, or bagels, bagels would always be a good one. No sponge cake post-workout, right? We need to get rid of that, no sponge cake. Maybe a little bit of Haribo's, that's fine. My go-to post-workout meal is always going to have carbs, and it's always going to have a good source of bioavailable protein. Now, I know we went over bioavailable proteins last week as well. So that's all the questions I got here. I've seen a few in the comments. I'm just going to have a quick scroll through. What's the best bread or bread rolls? Right, good question. So the bread rolls that I'm loving at the minute are Sheldon's Lancashire soft bottom muffins. I think we've spoken about these, Car. They're absolutely quality. They got real high protein content in them. I think they're about 161 calories, 163 calories. How many carbs is in them? 30 per roll. So a moderate amount of carbs, but it's actually got like 11 grams of protein, which blew my mind when I seen that. So Sheldon's Lancashire soft bottom rolls, really good. And if we're not talking about bread that's good for a diet, you've got to go with the Tesco's cashew and cranberry loaf. That stuff is ridiculous. Don't pick that up if you struggle to put the food back down, right? Because I've eaten many a loaf of that. Got to get down 185 gram of protein per day. Struggling with that. Yeah, that's not astronomically high though. You know, I've been up at 220 gram of protein a day, and that was tough. But if you are struggling with that, you know, I would probably suggest just looking for a whey protein shake there. That's going to be your best option, right? None of this diet whey crap. Just get a good whey protein isolate. That's going to give you all the protein you need with low carbs and low fats as well. So hopefully that one answers that. Have we got any more here? Full fat or semi-skimmed milk? Again, goal dependent, right? If you're someone who struggles to gain weight, if you're someone who wants to get that little bit more timber on, Luke, full fat milk, gold top milk, which I know Luke is smashing, and he's put out I don't know how much muscle on by smashing the calories in through gold top. But if you just want a cup of tea, probably go semi-skimmed milk. To be honest, is the only benefits you're going to get to full fat is going to be that fat, okay, and the nutrients of that fat carries. So it's again total calorie intake. Best app to track daily intake, MyFitnessPal. I know people have a hatred of MyFitnessPal because it tells them the truth. And when you see the amount of calories that you actually need to eat, sometimes it can be a little bit gutting. And also, MyFitnessPal, just because you didn't track it, doesn't mean you didn't eat it, right? The amount of people that say, oh, I've eaten this and I put it in MyFitnessPal and somehow I'm still gaining weight. Okay, what about, did you add the biscuits? No. Did you add the bread in? No. But I didn't put it in MyFitnessPal. Well, just because you didn't put it in MyFitnessPal, you still ate it. So you got to put everything in. Yeah, so I would say always go for MyFitnessPal on that one. What else was there? Was there something else on here now? No, that looks like all of the questions have been answered on that one. So yeah, hopefully I am providing a little bit of quality for you as well, and giving you all the answers you need. But as I said, same as always, but guys, if you've got questions, just don't be afraid to ask them, right? It doesn't matter how silly you may think they are. I guarantee someone else has probably asked it. Oh, hang on, sorry, I got one more. How much water should a woman drink a day? Oh, sorry, Pembers, didn't see that one either. Woman wants about just over 2.5 litres a day. If you're training, a little bit more. I would say, probably another litre on top of that around your session. And a man is just going to go 1 more litre than that, so 3.7 litres a day, with a little bit more than that as well. That's like the latest recommendation. So that does seem like a hell of a lot of water, but you've got to think as well then. You're going to be having your teas, your coffees and stuff to add on to that as well. I don't eat fruit. What can I use as a supplement? Well, why don't you eat fruit for starters? There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I would probably go for like a red or green shake then, to be honest with. Trying to think of a good one. Project AD do a good green shake, but let's be fair, they taste absolutely foul. They taste like a horse's barn, so I don't know why you'd want to choose to have one of them. I know Genetic did a really good one, but obviously they're no longer making stuff. But if you don't want to eat fruit, go for a red and green shake. Check a link as well below for some of the ones that I like. Yeah, true. If you didn't record, yeah, if you don't wear your miso when you're doing BSC, the session doesn't count, does it? So that's where you've got to apply as well then when you're doing MyFitnessPal, right? Just make sure you're tracking everything. So yeah, that was the last question because I chose to ignore Pembers on that first one. Again, awesome stuff, guys. Feedback on the podcast last week was fantastic. The next one is going to be going up tomorrow as well. So if you fancy having a laugh and something different, then jump onto that. Other than that, thank you very much, guys, for listening to me for another 30 minutes. Hopefully I haven't bored you all to death. But yeah, top stuff. Cheers, guys.